Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Diplomas to Degrees. I'm Mr. Matt. Hope you guys are doing well, staying healthy, staying safe out there. So, today we are going to be talking about how to find the right fit for you when it comes to choosing a path for post secondary education. And specifically, we're going to be looking at some of the factors that weigh into your decision about what type of institution might be right for you. Now, when you're starting your college search, the important thing to remember, one, there's a number of different types of institutions. We've got 4-year colleges, we have 2-year colleges, we have community college, military school, trade vocational schools. There's a lot of different sort of paths that you can take, right? And finding the right one for you starts with answering sort of some basic questions and figuring out what your priorities are. So we're going to go through a list, and for you guys, when you're looking at this list, one, you have to be honest with yourself. You can't answer how friends and family would or what sounds good. You have to be true to yourself, right? Everyone's college experience is different. Everyone's priority list is going to be slightly different, but you need to be honest about what yours is. And based on this list, how you prioritize things will go a long way towards aiding your search. So let's get started. Two choices here. I want a small school where I know most of the people on campus. I want a big school with lots of people. There are pluses and minuses to both of these. A smaller school, you know people, a lot more personal contact. You're going to know the people in your class. It's going to be a lot of the same people in your various classes. Big school, so many people that you can meet, right? Think of a school like UT. Over 40,000 students attend UT. A lot of potential to meet people. A lot of potential to meet people from all different backgrounds, ethnicities, different walks of life. Incredible diversity can be found at really big schools. But a lot of strangers. You're not going to know everybody around you. That might be overwhelming for some people. Both good options. Depends on your personality, what your priorities are. What type of learning environment do you want to have? You enjoy being a part of small group discussions, or do you like listening to lectures? Small group discussions, more debating. The teacher's going to be involved, a lot of back and forth. You really get to voice your opinion, learn about the opinions of your classmates, see a different side of things. Lectures. You're sitting in a lecture hall, maybe it's 50, 60, maybe it's 100, maybe it's 500 kids. Mostly taking notes, listening to the teacher, watching a video, etc., but you're note-taking in lectures. Not as much discussion, debate. Discussion-based, you've got to really know the material, reading every night, doing all the assignments. Lecture hall, you got to be able to take notes. What's your preference? What's your style? It's important to know. Similarly with group discussions, do you want to have that relationship with your professors? Professors can be incredible mentors and guides on your college journey and beyond. Is that important to you? Do you want to foster those relationships? Do you want to be able to drop in on your professor and talk in their office about the material, learning beyond the book, whatever it might be? If that's important to you, that plays a role in what school you pick. Not saying you can't be close with professors at big schools, it's just harder. Think about it, we all have the same number of hours in a day. Teachers have only so many hours that they can have sort of open to students to drop in on them, their office hours. If you're at a school with 40,000 kids or a school with 4,000 kids, the time that the professor can allot to you is going to be very different. So important to keep that in mind if relationships with your professors are important. Wanting to take classes in many different subjects, wanting to focus mainly on one career path. Or do you know what your career path is? Are you already set that you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a teacher? If you're going into your college experience of sort of, boy, I really don't know, I'm undecided, so many things interest me, bigger schools going to have more options when it comes to classes. Some schools specialize in certain things. They're known for their business program or their nursing program. So it's important that you do your research. If you have a focus of you know where you want to go, you know you want to go into business, look up the best business schools in the country and start your search there. Then factor in the other parameters. You want to be around lots of different kinds of people. You want a lot of diversity. Well, schools traditionally that are larger, closer to cities, you're going to find more diversity. Want to be challenged academically? Do you want to go to a school that's really going to push you? What impact will that have on having a job, your social life, etc.? Important to find that right balance for you. You want to go to a school to learn more about the world around you. Does that mean you want to travel somewhere outside of the city or state that you live in? Do you want to be around a more diverse population? Do you want to be in another part of the country? So not just leaving the state, but you want to see a whole new way of life? You have a specific career in mind? Or are you going to go to a school that specializes in that? What type of learning do you want? Do you want something that's hands-on, more teaching instead of research, somewhere that's heavily research-driven? What's your style? And again, it's going to be different for all of us. Going to school to have fun. This is the one I'm going to object to for a minute here, because going to school and having fun should not be at odds to each other. I don't know when early on in all of our lives we were told that school is where you go to learn, you have fun elsewhere. Before or after school, that's when you have fun. It's just not true. Learning should be fun. I'm not saying every day, every subject, but learning should be fun. Enhancing your skills, learning more knowledge should be enjoyable to you. And if it's not, maybe you're not in the right subjects. Maybe it's not being taught to you in a way that you can relate to that's effective. But learning should be enjoyable. So school should be fun regardless. So to have that as like a priority, well, life should be fun. School should be fun. So we're not going to really count that one. Better way to put it is a balance between social and school life, right? Balance between your academics and being able to hang out with friends, play intramural sports, have a part-time job, be able to go out and go on trips, have new experiences. There should be a balance, and that balance will look a little different depending on who you are. Being in a fraternity or sorority, do your research. If that's something you'd like to consider, look for schools that, if you're interested in one of the black fraternities or sororities, the Divine Nine, look into some of those HBCUs especially, because that culture is so rich at those institutions. Being in a school where sports are a big deal. Obviously, you guys being so close to University of Texas, a lot of you know what that's like. A lot of the schools in Texas, quite frankly, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, obviously UT, very big sports programs, a lot of rich tradition there. If you're someone who doesn't really want to be at a school that's dominated by athletics, do that research. You don't want to end up somewhere where everyone's expected to be part of the sports world and sports aren't your thing. Nothing wrong with either way you look at it, but you need to be honest with yourself and then do the appropriate research. The point of this list is just a starting point. These are just some questions to ask yourself. It's not supposed to be the be-all, end-all. But the point is then you want to be able to answer questions like this. You want to be able to look and say, well, what type of school, based on some of these criteria, do you want to be at a public or a private school? 2 versus 4 year. Location, how close to home do you want to be? Are you able to travel? What's the living situation like on campus or living off campus? Big school, small school. What type of major do they offer? What's the learning environment like? So the idea is that by looking at some of these criteria and asking yourself some of these questions, you can start to prioritize the factors that will make up your college experience. If you determine the most important thing to you is to go to a top business school, you start your search with top 10 business schools. Start putting, and if nothing on that list, go to top 15, top 20, 50, expand it however much you need. And when you have a list, start plugging in your other factors. You'd like to be within 2 hours of home. That will narrow it down. You'd like to be at a school, you can get a 4-year degree and also stay and go on to your master's. That will narrow it down. You want to plug in your priorities depending on where they fall. Start with the most important things, the things you have to have, and narrow it from there. So guys, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about your college search, please tune in every Monday night at 6 on our virtual cast. We do our Diploma to Degree series, and we talk about that post-secondary education and how to help you guys achieve all your goals. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time. Stay well.